Hi, this is Dave and Trisha Rich coming to you from Papagallos in Satellite Beach, Florida. Wanted to share some of the wins we've had since working with Thrive since March of this year. When we got referred to them by a customer, we were working in our business. We had just expanded and we were doing well, but we were kind of just working 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. So it seemed like everybody was benefiting from us having a business except us. All our employees were happy. They were busy, but we were locked in. There was no way out of a 12-hour day every day. So we started working with them on the first interview that we had with Marshall, our coach. He asked me several questions, which I'm kind of embarrassed to say I had no answers to. How were we going to take time off? How were we going to implement systems, which we'd never even started doing? And so we decided to work with them, and we kind of made a commitment that we were going to be coachable no matter what they said. What we were doing obviously wasn't working for our personal life, so we figured we'll try whatever they say, and until it doesn't work, we'll just put everything we have into it and see what goes from there.
We started the group interview, so being able to have enough staff to try to find places for the staff to go instead of wondering who can we use to fill a time slot is a crazy difference for us, and also just enjoying everybody that we work with. There's nobody that comes in and you're like, oh, I got to work with them today. Everybody's just a pleasure. We're a big family again. Everybody's, chipping in, helping each other. It's just wonderful.
3 words we don't hear is it's not my job. That's one of the things. If you're walking through the dining room and you're a cook, but something needs to be cleared from the table, now they just pick it up. Where before it was like, well, that's not my job. I don't do that. And so we don't hear that anymore because they see us doing it too. Another thing that was big for us is that we're old school. I've been doing this since 1990. So when they started telling us about Google reviews and internet presence, I was like, well, okay, I'll try it, but I don't really believe in it. And I gotta admit that I was horribly wrong on that point because it's made a huge difference in our business and just the way we attract customers.
The crew has actually gotten very involved in how many Google reviews do we have, what's our goal that we need to get to, asking all the customers, and that's been just amazing for everybody to get together and get involved in that.
When we started with Thrive, we had our certain numbers that we wanted to hit every week, and our baseline number, if we got to that, it was an average week, we had our good week. Well, our baseline number's 3 times what it was then, and I look back at those numbers thinking, oh my God, if I would have ever said a year ago we were going to be hitting the numbers we're hitting now, I would have said, nope, you're lying, there's no way we can do it. And now, not only are we doing it, we're looking to increase that because we have the capabilities and the staff to handle it. So it's just been an all-around good experience with us. It's not been easy. There's been a lot of things we've had to unlearn, a lot of new things we've had to put in place that sometimes it's uncomfortable, like shooting videos that we're not used to doing. But it does work. So, if you're going to give it a shot, play full out, do everything they ask you to do, and until you don't see a reason to do it or that it's not working, believe that it will, because I'm here to tell you it does. And I've had conversations with Marshall several times and just kind of had to eat crow or be humble pie saying, well, you were right, and I'm glad that he was because it's working for us. And as you can see, this video is being shot outside. A year ago, I never saw the light of day, so it's a good thing for us.
So something else that we knew that we had to do that we just didn't have time for was to upgrade our website. We didn't really know how to even begin with that, nor did we have time to be creative as we're putting out fires in the restaurant to even start with a new website. So now we have a wonderful new website. Dave's writing blogs like crazy, which is new for him, yeah. But he's really good at.
I sat down with the blogs, and it was an assigned task that I wasn't looking forward to, but as I sat down to start writing these, a lot of memories from along the way came up and reminded me why we were in this business in the first time. Sure, you have to make a living, but when you spend so much time working with people, they become your family. So you get to look back and remember people that were here 20 years ago. We've been here long enough now that we have 3 people on staff that are second generation. Their parents worked with us when they were in high school. So we're part of the framework of the community, which sounds really kind of corny in some ways, but that's our big payoff. That's what we strive for. So sitting down and writing every week about how we got here has been really good for me, just to make me feel good inside, just to remember how far we've come.
And it's been good for some of the people that have been involved in the business for even before Dave opened Papagallos in his parents' restaurant, thanking some people that didn't really realize how much they've done to help us get to where we are.
So I guess in closing, what we're trying to say is if you're thinking about it, don't think about it anymore. Give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose. I mean, if you're looking at this video or if you're looking at their products on their website, you do need it. I mean, we were in it 30 years thinking you know everything. Well, you get a fresh view, some different things to try, and you've got really nothing to lose. And trust me, you have everything to gain. So give it a try. I would definitely recommend it.
Thank you, Thrive.
Thank you, Thrive. Talk to you soon.
Well, Thrive Nation, on part 2 of today's show, we're diving into a 10-minute deep dive with Matt Klein. This is the franchise brand developer for a company called OxyFresh. I do believe that buying an OxyFresh.com franchise could be life-changing for somebody out there. Again, I do believe that buying an OxyFresh.com franchise for somebody out there could be life-changing. And here to talk about it is Matt Klein with OxyFresh. Matt, how are you, sir?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
Well, I'm fired up to talk to you, so I got to ask you, first question right out the gate here, OxyFresh, OXIFresh.com. If somebody wants to buy one, how much money are we talking about? I think there's so many franchises that are available that are, I mean, no exaggeration, like a McDonald's is, millions of dollars. Certain haircut chains, barber chains are $1 million. A lot of franchises, it turns out, are north of $1 million. How much money does it cost to buy an OxyFresh.com franchise there, sir?
Our franchise is $46,900 to become a franchise.
46,900.
Yep.
Okay, next question for you. Who's a good fit to buy an OxyFresh.com franchise? Who should be buying one and who should not?
I'd say someone that you can either do the semi-absentee or full-time, someone that's eager enough, that wants to make a change, that feels like they can be a business owner, they can be in control of their employees. I mean, you can run this thing in a variety of ways. So we do have a huge threshold of people that are capable of doing this. But, I would tell people, you got to be kind of a self-starter. You got to be someone that isn't told what to do. You have an actual energy to be successful, right? I mean, we're a very easy business model. We just need people that can try hard. That's all.
Now, you actually own an OxyFresh franchise in addition to awarding them. So tell me about, what's required of you on a daily basis with your locations, because you run your locations successfully. And sure, there's things you could do to improve, but I mean, what's required of you, or what does your day look like every day as an OxyFresh franchise owner?
Yeah, I'm constantly in tune with what's happening on my daily schedule, what's happening in my marketing, where I'm ranking. Like I know right now, Google over the weekend had a huge algorithm change, because I know where I was last week and where I stand right now, which in some ways is very good. In some ways, we got some work to do. So having a constant thumb on the pulse of where I actually rank online is important to understand how I'm going to perform. Obviously, my employees understand what they're going through in their personal lives and their business lives, right? Kind of helping them get to the next threshold, setting rules for them, setting contests for them so they can actually have some incentive to go above and beyond just their normal kind of day-to-day. I'm never physically there. So I'm always just constantly like checking in and looking at things and talking to my employees. Like I just ordered a bunch of more product before this. So just I'm the one kind of pulling the strings, but I'm not physically doing the jobs.
Why aren't you physically doing the jobs? I think a lot of people think if you buy a franchise, you need to be doing the jobs physically, or they think that maybe that's what's required, or that's what most people do. Why do you choose to run the company as an owner, non-operator, as you're a guy who owns the business and somebody else operates the day-to-day for you?
Yeah, I think my entire skill set would be wasted if I'm doing jobs, to be honest. I can run that business. I can do my job. I can run my other companies. I can, my time is my most valuable asset. And so if I'm doing jobs for 6-7 hours a day, I can't really be productive at anything else that's it. So also, I like providing opportunities for people that are going to be good at that, right? Yeah, I could probably be a great technician, but where I'm at in my life, my skill set is beyond that.
Now, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we've never talked about this, and I kind of specialize in being a sort of a amateur mind reader. So my understanding of why you bought an OxyFresh is you wanted to spend all of your time away from your family working on tedious, repetitive, soul-sucking tasks, primarily related to things that other people could do for you. You bought an OxyFresh so that you could do the work, all of it yourself, so that you could clean every carpet fiber yourself. and that you could never delegate, and that you just bought the business because you personally wanted to view the carpet cleaning as a personal passion project where you could just obsessively clean the carpet and avoid your family and friends and anything you enjoy in life and just say no to it and just focus myopically on carpet cleaning. Is that why you bought an OxyFresh, sir?
Well, it's quite the opposite. I had owned companies in the past, and that was very life-sucking. It took everything from me. We were always profitable on paper, but I never saw any money, and logistics were always very high. So OxyFresh was a no-brainer to me because I'd seen the other side of the fence with business ownership, and OxyFresh takes care of a lot of things that I don't want to. Answering the phones, building the technology behind Google Pages and the infrastructure, right? Like I'm able to run a business that infrastructurally is already created. I don't have to build the infrastructure, and that was a good fit for me.
So you are in a process and you're in a flow right now where you're running the business. You run an OxyFresh yourself, or OxyFreshes yourself. Again, going back to that daily grind, I think a lot of people, when they think about buying a franchise, they think about this all-consuming 80-hour-a-week grind. Let's get back into that a little bit here. So you check in with your guys every day, so you know what they're doing with their personal lives and what's going on with the business. You hold them accountable for the key performance indicators. You're always hiring people. So it sounds to me like big idea number one is you're always training people to clean carpets. That's a big thing. You're hiring people to clean carpets, training people. You're always just managing people that clean carpets. That's over here. And then another ball that you're always juggling, it seems like you got two balls you're juggling, is you're always making sure you're wowing the customers and you're gathering objective reviews from real customers. It seems like those are the two big things you're doing is you're training people to clean carpets, and then you're also gathering objective reviews. Am I missing something? Am I off there? Is there something I'm missing there, sir?
No, the only thing I would say is I'm not training my employees. I have a team that's very good. I have like a lead technician, and they train my guys. So even to that, once you get a couple employees that you can trust, like I don't have to train my employees. They're already trained by the people that I've trained. So I really do have a business that's kind of structurally sound. Like I'm not having to pull the strings for a lot of things. I'm just running the business.
So let's focus on some of the locations that are doing well. And I'm not looking for the name of the city or the name of the owner, but you have 500 locations that are open all across the country. And I'm sure there's a top 10% list somewhere based upon some metrics. But when you think about that top 10% of the OxyFresh franchise group, what's the top 10% doing that maybe the bottom 10% is not doing? Or another way to ask, if you were to buy a Domino's franchise, a friend of mine, he owns the Domino's franchises. He's very successful in the world of Domino's. There's people in the Domino's industry that are at the top 10%. There's also the bottom 10%. Another way to look at it, friends of mine own different franchises that are parts of franchise groups. And in every franchise group, there's always that top 10% and the top bottom percent that are given almost the exact same opportunity, but yet the dynamic range between the top performer and the bottom performer tends to be pretty epic. What's the top 10% doing and what's the bottom 10% not doing?
Yeah, the top 10% is doing exactly what I said. They're paying attention. They're treating it as an actual living organism that they got to take care of. They're paying attention. They're upping their investment, but paying attention to their returns. They're making sure they're setting the goals for their employees. All those things are happening. The bottom 10 are just basically, they add the business, they own it. They're just looking up at the sky and expecting things to change. But they're not doing any of their tasks.
Seems like a good strategy if you believe that our God above will come down and do your marketing for you and do your hiring for you and drive your vehicles from A to B. And it is possible. I do, as a Christian, I could say, our God and Father, I don't mean this sacrilegiously at all, who is capable of giving birth to the earth and parting the Red Sea and these sorts of things. I'm sure he could do it. I don't know that I've seen it happen in the carpet world. Have you seen anybody so far that's an OxyFresh owner, even the super devout Christians, where they've just prayed their way to success? Because as I read the Bible, I see people like Abraham and Moses who he told them to do things too. So I don't know of any Bible stories where a guy just sat around and God did everything for them. Are you seeing a lot of OxyFresh owners that can just pray their way to success? Has that happened yet?
I haven't seen it work yet. The things that we've asked franchisees to do are not hard. But it is amazing to me the amount of people that will over exceed and under exceed, right? There's not a state it's not the same across. There's people that will just be mediocre. There's people that are going to be completely not fit. And there's people that just go way, way above and beyond what you ever asked them to do. It's like, you really have to kind of ask yourself, who are you? What kind of person are you in your past? Are you the person that goes above and beyond? Because you'll be successful at this. Are you a person that just okay, just kind of mixing up in the crowd? Or are you a person that's always struggled? I mean, it's not for me to say who you're gonna be, but it's a good practice to kind of look introspectively and see who you are. You know, running a company is harder than having a job because no one tells you when to get out of bed.
Now, Matt, the final question I have here for you is we have a lot of listeners who listen to this wonderful show. And I'll tell you this, people who listen to this show, Matt, they are diligent doers. They're goal pursuers. They're people that take action, many of which have purchased an OxyFresh location in years past. And I encourage everybody out there to go to oxyfresh.com to request additional information. If somebody does go, and I'll put a link there, more of a direct link, thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh. thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh. If somebody does go to thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh and they request additional information, what happens next there, sir?
Yeah, so we're going to get your information. You're going to get emailed and texted, and we're going to be a call, and we're going to try to have an intro conversation. That conversation is going to be like, who are you? What are you trying to accomplish? Right? Why are we on the phone today? Let's talk a little bit about your goals, talk about OxyFresh, really kind of have the introductions there, and then we're going to find some synergy to where it makes sense to get into the more in-depth process of screen shares, territory discussions, competition, right? Software training, all that sort of stuff.
You, my friend, are a great American. I encourage everybody out there, if you're not familiar with OxyFresh, go to oxyfresh.com, oxyfresh.com, America's greenest carpet cleaner. And right there is a beautiful man, Matt Klein. Matt Klein, thank you for your time today, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Wood Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
And to be honest with you, we're blown away with the results we've had in just one quarter.
It was one of the best things I've ever done. It freed my time, increased our sales, and at the end of the day, increased our profitability beyond my wildest expectations.
It's been a significant investment, but it's the best money I've ever spent. It's been a very positive experience. We've only been at it for 6 months or so, and we've already seen a significant amount of growth. And I can see everything becoming much more organized, much more efficient. I know what my numbers are in a much more realistic way on a day-to-day basis. So my experience has just been very positive overall.
You know, since working with Aaron, our leads have gone up dramatically. It's not one of those things where it's like, yeah, I kind of notice. It's holy cow, where all these, it's you almost feel overwhelmed at times. And it's just our presence in general has been changed just dramatically. Like Clay, he was dropping his wife off at the airport and he had his Flint Rock hat on, and there was some other construction companies there, and they asked him, it's like, where the heck did you guys come from? You guys are everywhere now. And you just can't get away from how noticeable of a difference that it makes. There's no denying it. You know, just on a personal level, as far as what it's like working with Aaron, he is just a consummate professional, and just with an immense amount of dedication to the task at hand, and just to you as a company, trying to help you succeed. And you know, I think I've said this before, but his just availability to you, and he's genuinely invested in your success, and it's been wonderful.
And I feel like that's why the two of you work great together. Joe, to me, like, obviously, like, the more technical, you're probably the more visionary, and that's like the two of it coming together is what, to me, what makes it work. And it's like a missing piece for us that I enjoy having.
Hi, I'm Amy Cheney. My husband and I are owners of Cheney Construction here in Pampa, Texas. And I was a little skeptical at first because my husband's tried to do things like this before. But once I was able to speak with Clay myself, I thought we need to give this a chance. So we were able to determine that the savings that we have from the decision that we made each month is going to be roughly about $2,000 a week, so it's about $8,000 a month. Plus we also made the decision to get rid of a billboard that hadn't really brought us any business, and that was another $475 a month. So we're looking at $8,500 a month, and that's a really big deal. So my first thoughts when Clay introduced us to the weekly Know Your Numbers system was, no big deal, we don't need to do that. We have a secretary that's an amazing QuickBooks person, and so she enters all of that stuff every single day for us. So we don't need to do that ourselves. QuickBooks will pull a report, that's all we need. We don't need anything else. There's no sense in me double duty. Clay, do you understand how many transactions are in our bank statement every single month? It would take me forever to do. So very resistant, because I thought, we already know our numbers. We already have everything into QuickBooks, and we already know what we need to know, and we can pull a report to provide you with that information. So some of the struggles in being able to complete this action item were getting the want to do it. Once I actually decided, okay, Clay, you can stop asking me. I'm actually going to sit down and do this every single week, and actually got through it. That was it. Like, I've made that commitment. It takes me maybe 20 minutes on, every Saturday morning to go in and do the previous weeks. Now that I've been doing it for a while, I'm kind of on a roll, and so it makes it a lot easier. So one of the things we discovered when we started looking at the money this closely was that my husband doesn't want to know the numbers, first of all. He pays good money to have someone do that for him because he just doesn't want to know. It's not his thing. And so I had worked for an accountant previous to this, so that's kind of my thing. So for him to be able to sit down and take a look and see some of the things we're spending money on that he probably didn't even realize, or to realize how much we've been paying some employees that were not operating as A players. That was the big eye-opener for my husband. But when he saw the numbers of what we were paying in payroll expenses for two team members that were not operating as A players and hadn't been for quite some time, that was a huge eye-opener for him, and he realized that he needed to take that emotion out of that decision and make it a business decision. It's accountability for your secretary as well, or your bookkeeper, whoever does your books, especially if it's not yourself, because if you've not ever had anybody embezzle money from you, then you're very fortunate. So it's really good to have that accountability. We've had that happen in the past to us, and so my secretary's actually even come back to me and said, hey Amy, I really appreciate that you're doing this now, because now at the end of the month, if there's not any money, then you know exactly where the money's went. You and Jimmy have known exactly where the money has gone. So we're not coming to her going, where's all our money? Because that's not a good position for her to be in either. So like I said, just knowing where your dimes are going is a huge deal, and being able to know where to cut back from, that's a big deal, but also the accountability for everyone on your team.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great and such a I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous, just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. You know, my rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life, so he was my coach.
Well, Carter, you know, we have an opportunity here at the Thrivetime Show to work with some really great business owners, people that are actually serious about growing their company. They go to thrivetimeshow.com and they reach out to schedule a free 13-point assessment. And oftentimes I hop on the phone with these folks and we figure out if they're a good fit. And once we start working with a client, our goal is to help the client to actually grow their actual business. And on today's show, we're joined with a man who we've had the opportunity to work with. The company's called NWA Gutter Perfection. And my understanding, Carter, is that they're up over 60%. Is that right?
I would say that's correct, yes.
DJ, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great. So for anybody out there who is doubting whether you're a hologram or not, what's the name of your company, sir?
Gutter Perfection.
How did you guys first hear about us? Do you know?
It's actually a friend of mine found out about your business conferences there, and then we went there. And I guess I was sold the first conference we went to.
If you go to nwagutterperfection.com, you can see they're a real company. They're a real business. They really are growing. What markets do you service there, DJ? For people out there that might be looking for your services, what's the market area that you service?
Pretty much all in Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, Rogers, you know, the little surrounding towns there too.
And again, if you go to the website here, folks, nwagutterperfection.com, you can see they are a real business, real people having real success. DJ, I really do appreciate your time today, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis. And that simplicity brings power with it. So it shocked me how simple some of the stuff is. And at times I'm like, why didn't I think about that? Workflow creation, systematic marketing, and coaching has helped our church so much. You know, the workflow creation is what it really is they're gonna look and see every moving part of your church, of your ministry, what needs to be done. And it's gonna go up on a massive board. And so now what it does is it takes what you know needs to be done out of your heart and out of your head really takes the pressure, the stress off your shoulders, and it puts it on the board where your entire team, your ministry can see exactly what you want them to do every day. And so they know this is the playbook, this is what we're doing. And then there's laser sharp accountability with a meeting afterwards. Did it get done or not?
Clay, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. I think YouTube is a tremendous educational platform for good and bad. So you've got to really again choose your teachers wisely, as anything else. So the best lesson that sits in the back here, and I think you do it and Dr. Z does it. Once you learn something, if you really want to learn it, you got to teach it.
I think it's life-changing for me and how I approach business. Could you explain Octa, non-verba, what it means and how our listeners can apply it?
Clay, you gave me goosebumps, man. I'm glad it hit you as hard as it did. Octa non-verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments with Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was Octa non-verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do.
Well, the first time that I ever met you, Clay, was at that first conference in Tulsa. And that was an incredible conference. And I was so impressed with just the whole thing, just the professionalism, you as a person, your business, your work ethic, and really just who you are. And I was very impressed with all of that. And I thought, gosh, this might be someone that I would really consider working with. Like maybe he could really help me. And that's really what got me interested, because I was so impressed with just the professionalism of all of it. And I learned a lot. I come about once a year to a business conference, and I'd like to come more, but every year I try to come with my marketing girl with me. And we always learn something. And I think next year I'm going to bring my husband because he really needs to come too.
And you're in McKinney, Texas, right? So how long have you been an orthodontist in McKinney, Texas?
So I've been an orthodontist for 26 years, practicing in McKinney.
And when you went to medical school, what percentage of the time in medical school or dentistry school, dental school, did they spend teaching you how to market and or grow your own practice?
Absolutely zero marketing skills.
Okay. And from when I talked to Andrew, you're the coach who works with you, I'm always hearing that more and more patients are coming in from Google. Could you talk about that? How much of an impact does it have having maybe a rebranded or updated website and Google leads coming in?
It has had a huge difference, absolutely huge difference in our patient load coming in. And, before I really wasn't tracking really well. And that's one of the things I learned from Thrivetime Business was how to track patients coming in, how to really, how to see where they're coming from. And at the time, I really didn't know much about Google. And, being an orthodontist for 26 years, I didn't really know a lot I kind of went through a time where I went through shock. It was really what I call culture shock, because the old ways of marketing were not working anymore. And because I really didn't know about online marketing, I was still doing, phone book ads and magazine ads and all of these things. And so Thrivetime has really helped. And I will say that it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you stay the course, you're going to see results, because I'm absolutely convinced.
Dr. Christ, thank you for allowing us to take up some of your valuable time today. I really do appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in person here soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Clay.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March 6th and 7th. We're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki. Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, probably the best-selling or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place.
In the same place.
Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses, am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here. I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it. And we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might say, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
storage space,
storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th. We just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life-changing. It is life-changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life-changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right, not really. So if you're looking to have life-changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you, it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
My name is Claire Yinger. I was looking to learn everything about business, which I have learned so many things. It's like drinking from a fire hydrant. I'm going to have to do it again multiple times. What I've learned so far has been, just a lot about processes, systems, the power of them, your due diligence. The list could go on and on and on. Well, listening to Clay is very entertaining because he is entertaining, but also just meeting all the different people and having time and space to you're learning a lot, but then also being able to discuss with other people what they're learning and just getting different perspectives. So very entertaining, very funny, very thorough, but also could be random because it's full of a lot of stories, but it's also intentional. It's like everything he's doing is intentional, but you wouldn't be fully aware that it was, but it is.